Hi, my name is Josh Stokes. I've lived in Southwest Virginia my entire life. I've visited other places around the world, around the country, and there's just something about Southwest Virginia that is unique and special. Unfortunately, I can't quite put into words what makes it so special. So I'm going to show you. We're going to visit various businesses, events, and talk to the people who make this such a wonderful place to live. So join me on the community show. I can't wait to see you there. Hi, we're with Sasha Marine with Floyd County Humane Society. She is the event organizer and general guru of if it happens, you're involved.
You could say that for some things, not all things. The Humane Society, if nothing, is supported by a plethora of volunteers, and so not one person can do everything, so it's really important that we have as many people participate as possible to be successful.
Now, how do you get the volunteers? So how do volunteers find you, and how do you find volunteers?
So there's a variety of ways that people can engage with us if they're interested. So if you attend any of our events and you want to volunteer, speak with one of the volunteers present. We're often wearing Floyd County Humane Society apparel, so you can recognize us easily. Alternatively, you can always go to our website, which is floydhumanesociety.org, and you can click the tab for volunteering there.
Okay, and some of the events you organize, they're something that people just might stumble upon happenstance. One that you recently had was the Pints for Paws. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So this is the second year that we've had Pints for Paws. We partner with Buffalo Mountain Brewery, which is the local brewery in Floyd. And at the event, you can meet dogs and cats available for adoption. You can interact with volunteers, and you can also help us with our fundraising efforts through the purchase of the beer glasses or through crafts that are available for sale at the event.
So the dogs and cats there, are they available for adoption?
The ones that we bring, yes. It is an event that is encouraging local community folks to bring their own pets to enjoy. So a lot of people brought their dogs from their homes, but the Humane Society also had pets available for adoption that you could meet at the event. It is important to understand that at the event you can meet the pets, but you still have to go through the formal application process in order to try to adopt the pet.
Right, but it gives you an opportunity to interact with the pet, interact with the dog, see if it's a good match, have a beer. It's kind of like a date, but just with your new adopted pet.
If you vibe with the energy, right? If you're a really high energy person who wants a pet that also will go with you on runs or go with you on hikes, you want to know that from the interaction. Or if you're a more low key person and you want a snuggle companion, you can also find that out.
Okay, so how many dogs have been and potential owners have been caught just snuggling after a few pints?
Probably too many to mention, but we don't kiss and tell.
It's good to know. Now, some of the other events you have going on, you have Paws Cause coming in at the end of October. What is that? What is the scope of that event, and when can we expect that to occur?
So Paws Cause is October 29th. It's on a Saturday. It is our premier fundraising event. So it happens every year. It's been going on since 2008. We did have to pause it with the pandemic, of course, but we are back and very excited to be in person for this event again. It consists of a sit-down meal as well as a silent and live auction. There is music, there is an auctioneer, and we're also doing a 50-50 raffle this year.
Okay, and where did you say this occurs again?
I did not. Thank you for reminding me. So this is going to be at the Eco Village outside of Floyd on 221. You can find information about the event on our website. We also will be posting on our social media platforms about it, so you can see information there as well.
Okay. So, and that one is coming up relatively soon. What other events are going to be occurring throughout the year that's going to help, fundraisers as well as adoptions, maybe like the Pints for Paws or Pints with Paws?
Pints for Paws. Oh. Mm-hmm. I mean, Pints with Paws is a cute name too, but yeah, Pints for Paws, because we are drinking pints of beer to raise money for four-legged friends. So, for other events that we raise money, we participate in a variety of craft fairs throughout the year, and we'll hear from Suzanne, who will talk about that in more detail. But through those events, we sell different handcrafts to raise money. We also have fundraising events through our Facebook page where folks can participate in online auctions to win specific prizes like quilts that feature cats or dogs.
Okay. So how long have you been working to help the organization aspect of the Humane Society?
So I have been involved since 2019. I moved to Floyd in 2017 and went to Paws Cause the following year and fell in love with the event. And I grew up with cats that came from newspaper articles in the paper advertising them as free. And then my parents started volunteering in a humane society in my hometown. And so I've always been interested in helping out the less fortunate four-legged creatures. And so I've been part of the local humane society since 2019.
So for any of our viewers, if they want to get involved with the Humane Society or any donations, how can they get involved and help out Floyd County Humane Society specifically?
So again, there's a variety of ways you can participate or donate. So you can always check out our website, again, floydhumanesociety.org. There are tabs there for volunteering. There are tabs there for fostering. We're always looking for folks to foster our cats and dogs. If you want to just take the dog out for an adventure on the weekend, that's also an opportunity. There are also tabs for donating. So if you want to donate directly to the Humane Society in a single donation or a recurring one, either is available. We also have those fundraising events on our Facebook page, our events in person, and there's a calendar tab on our website. So you can keep up with all of the upcoming events and figure out how you want to get involved.
All right. Is there anything else you want to tell our viewers about the events coming up or the events just in general?
If you are a pet lover, if you want to advocate for four-legged friends, do consider being involved. We welcome all volunteers with all backgrounds and skill levels. So if you are someone who maybe wants to be more behind the scenes, there are opportunities for that. You could help with website development, you could help with some of the organization and planning of our events. If you are a more extroverted people person, you can be spokesperson at some of our events. You can help get the word out and do media. If you are a pet person, you can foster, you can help take care of our pets in feeding, playing, socializing. So there's so many opportunities. It really just depends on what do you want to do.
All right. Well, thank you, Sasha. It was a pleasure. So we are here with Joyanne Bensley and BG.
Short for Beetlejuice. Oh, BG short for Beetlejuice.
Not the movie.
Not the movie, the red supernova.
Got a beautiful red color with her. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going with her specifically?
You mean how she came to be with me? Oh, sure. So BG showed up at the pound, probably at the Floyd County Animal Control, probably a couple of years or so ago. And I met her and I said, this girl is pretty special. I would have had the option of adopting her directly from the pound, or moving her, getting her moved over to the Floyd County Humane Society. And in the end, I weighed the costs of getting all of her vetting and her spay and such done privately through a vet, and getting it done through the Humane Society and having a little bit more time to get her socialized. And it made more sense to me to have her moved over to the Humane Society. And they did all of this, all the vetting, of course, for me.
Oh, wow. So some cost-saving measures.
It was.
And she looks like she is still full of energy and ready to go at any moment. How old is she?
She's 4 years old now. So she was about 2 years old when she showed up at the pound. And yeah, because of her breed, You know, we think that she may be a mountain feist, but we're not really sure. But yeah, she's gonna be very active for a long, long, long time.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. So, what has your role been with the Floyd County Humane Society? I imagine that it has a lot to do with dogs.
Sure. Well, I just try to stay in the kennels with the dogs as much as possible. I have not been a principal decision maker. I just like working with the dogs. Along the way, I became what you might call a liaison with the Floyd Animal Control, and that has stuck with me. Um, and so at this point, I keep in pretty good contact with animal control. I make sure I know how many dogs are there. And usually that number is not a big problem. However, just a few weeks ago, we thought that we were reaching a critical point at animal control because they have 12 spaces and they had 10 or 11 dogs at times. It was a terrible, terrible time. Uh, for rescues and kennels across the country, actually. So we were trying to move out, even though we were also at capacity at the Humane Society. We were trying to move along dogs as we could, either to us or to other rescues. Um, and luckily, this situation has calmed down now, and we pulled a dog from animal control just yesterday. And aside from some puppies that have already been claimed, I think their number is now 0.
Wow. So that is quite an accomplishment. Now, when it comes to bringing dogs and onboarding dogs, you also do a lot of behavioral assistance with the dogs. Can you tell me a little bit about what the process is in assessing a dog and getting them where they need to be adoptable?
Oh, certainly. Well, to begin with, before we even bring in a dog from the pound or from another rescue or even an owner surrender, we try to assess the dog basically on two things. How is the dog going to get along with humans? And how is the dog going to get along with other dogs? If the dog comes into our kennels, the dog will have to be around other dogs, not necessarily in play groups, but in the same environment with other dogs. And if the dog hates other dogs, it can be an absolute disaster and it can be a safety issue for everyone involved. Um, and additionally, we have to make sure that the dog is not absolutely terrified of humans. We can work on changing the behavior of the dog over time, but we also want the dog to be able to get along with our volunteers. We love our volunteers. We have many of them. They are very important to us, and we can't risk losing volunteers because they are terrified of the dogs that are coming into our kennels.
So when it comes to correcting the behaviors, how does that process work? What kind of training do you do to help the dogs get to where they need to be?
Well, so to begin with, just having many different people, different volunteers and such, working with the dogs is going to help to socialize the dog to begin with. Many dogs that come through maybe have been on their own for a while or have not had a lot of social activity with many humans besides maybe one owner. And so that in itself is a huge thing to help the dog become more calm and able to get along with people. Um, we try to get on the same page with the different kinds of measures that we're using for the dogs, for example, to keep them from jumping, to prevent them from being mouthy, um, and to just try to calm the dogs to begin with.
Now, when after the dogs have gotten, I guess, to the point where they need to be, what kind of educational resources do you have to potential adoptees or people who end up adopting these dogs? It doesn't end with just exiting the building. There is still that ongoing relationship. What does the Humane Society do to help new owners?
Oh, absolutely. So we're always there for adopters of our dogs. We want our adopters to be successful. You know, we don't want to see the dog having to be returned to us. We want to make that relationship work for the new owners. Um, so we can provide additional help regarding even low cost training, um, additional uh, reading resources, CBD recommendations, if that's what it takes to keep the dog calmer. Um, you know, help with getting different supplies for the dog. But again, we do want the family to be successful. And we found also one of our big issues too is, say, if there is a cat already living in the home. And we do have resources, also written material, to help a family make a slow introduction between the cat and the dog. We never recommend just putting everybody into the house in the same vicinity at the same time. Even if we think that that dog is going to get along well with cats, or that the cat will get along well with dogs, it usually needs to be a slow process. So, you know, we advise patience on the part of our adopters as well.
Otherwise, shenanigans ensue, right?
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes scary shenanigans, and the family brings the dog back and says, "This isn't gonna work."
So let's say that I'm looking for a guardian dog, dog that's going to be spending more time outside. I know a lot of people choose to go with specific breeds, but that isn't exactly necessary. You can take a shelter dog and train them to, I mean, provided they have the abilities, you can train them to do the jobs necessary, right?
Um, you could do that. However, I'd have to say that's not an area that I have any expertise in, you know. And sometimes even Pyrenees will come through the Humane Society. And, you know, the question will be, well, does that dog know how to take care of, you know, livestock to protect it? And usually the answer is no. And at that point, I don't know how to train that dog either. You know, I think often it's something that the dog learns as a puppy. Um, but, you know, I think most dogs themselves are pretty good at, you know, learning how to manage people in terms of they know who their owner is, they know where their property is. Even this little girl herself, you know, she's a very good guard dog to let people know if you don't belong here, you stay away from here.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is that all dogs are trainable. It's not necessarily breed specific, but you can train some of these. I guess Heinz 57s is what I've always known them as.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. And again, the subject that just came up recently about what the breed that a dog looks to be versus what breeds might actually be in that dog, and you know the different personality traits that the dog may have. And yeah, absolutely, dogs are very, very smart creatures, and until, you know, they can always be trained. Especially most dogs are food and treat motivated. So that's a great, and attention motivated too. So you can definitely train them.
BG seemed to be very attention motivated earlier. So what kind of process did you use to train BG specifically when it comes to manners and learning what's okay to do and go ahead and be a dog?
Well, I did have to crate train her. When she came to me, she was not crate trained, and she didn't like it. but she learned that being in a crate occasionally was okay because I would play with her there. I would toss a ball into the crate for her. I would give her treats in the crate. Um, and she knew that she didn't want to be in the crate, but for a while, just having somebody come into my home was a really big stimulus for her. So I would put her into the crate before company would come over. Um, and then I have 2 older dogs who are very calm. They're about 10, 11 years old now, and I think that they have also been, a good mentors for her to show her how to be a respectable dog and get along in our home.
So when it comes to people who may be thinking about adopting, what is the best advice you can give to someone who's interested in adopting, even like maybe just for a companion animal? Where should they start?
Well, I'd say, first of all, make sure that you have the resources ready. Do you have enough time to spend with that dog? Do you have the financial resources as well? Owning a dog is not an inexpensive thing to do these days, I mean, between proper vet care, food, etc., you're looking at perhaps $500 a year or more. So make sure that you have all of those and you're really ready for this kind of investment. Make sure that everybody in your home is ready for this too, because if certain people are disagreeing, even if another dog is disagreeing, um, that you could run into problems there as well. Um, but um, start thinking about where you would want to adopt the dog from and about what age group too. Do you want a puppy, or do you want a young dog? Or do you want an older dog? Because older dogs make wonderful, wonderful companions. They don't have that many expectations, um, and they just want love. And on the flip side, you might have some additional occasional medical expenses with older dogs as well. But they have been through all of that puppy stuff. It's behind them, and they just want a good person to love them and to take care of them forever.
They just want to just chill on the couch with you, enjoy a little bit of time,
Exactly.
and and just relax.
Exactly. That's it.
So, is there anything that you want to tell our audience about what the Humane Society has going on and what they can do to help?
Um, well, we always need volunteers. We desperately need volunteers. We are going to be transitioning into our new facility, and whether you want to work with cats or dogs, we have a position for you. We have opportunities in promotion of animals at some of our events. If you would simply like to make a financial contribution, you can go onto our website and do that there as well. But we do have a place for you. Um, and also help us get the word out that we have big programs for spaying and neutering both cats and dogs. This has helped us to reduce our rate of euthanasia in the county from, I was just reading, it was about in 2005, about 57% of dogs coming through were being euthanized. And now we're down to about 5%. And that's not, the dogs that are euthanized now are not euthanized for lack of space, but rather for medical reasons or perhaps behavior issues. We may have a dog that has attacked a person or has killed livestock. And that goes under certain sorts of laws, for the state of Virginia that animal control deals with. Um, so again, put out the word that, we will help you get your dog or cat spayed or neutered. And, just contact us if you are interested at all in helping us, or if you're interested in helping us educate the public as well. educating children regarding proper welfare and care for animals.
Thank you so much, Joanne. And thank you, BG. Yeah, you good girl. Get some footage of her in action. Okay. All right, test. All right, we're good. Let's make sure we're all where we need to stand. All right. If I can get you right in this area. Okay. So it's my understanding the Humane Society works really well with the pound. Can you tell me a little bit about the relationship the Humane Society has with the pound and the sheriff?
Certainly. We have a partnership with the pound. The pound depends on the Humane Society in many aspects, and the Humane Society depends on the pound as well. Basically, we make each other look good. If the pound is overflowing with dogs and we're not helping to home some of them and such, that doesn't look good, and it doesn't make the county itself look good. Um, and I sometimes, depending on the situation, I may have daily contact with the pound just to assess what's going on there. Um, they keep us abreast of what dogs are coming in and if they do need our help, or when we're ready to pull a dog. For example, if one of our dogs gets adopted from the Humane Society, and we have a little bit more space, and there's a dog that they think would do well with us, maybe, that has been there for a little while, we'll go and pick up that dog. And so again, it's a good relationship. We also keep each other posted on missing animals, and even what can be at times a touchy situation is hoarding situations here in our county too, and that involves a lot of other issues as well. But again, we try to work together very closely with the pound, and they appreciate us and we appreciate them.
Thank you so much. So we're here with Suzanne Piovano and Thor. And Thor is really relaxed, but he was a ham earlier. It's my understanding you make these cat mats, crocheted, as well as knitted scarves to help with the Humane Society. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, at our craft shows, which we do numerous ones during the year, just very local, I hand knit scarves and hats. We also have cat mats and crinkle cat mats. We have dog treats. One of our members makes homemade dog treats, and they're very, very popular. They're only $3. We have cat nip pillows that the cats love too. We have some members that sometimes will contribute candles for us to sell, or other little cat toys. And we also have our t-shirts, which are locally made, and they are tie-dyed, and they're really colorful and very pretty. And the money from the craft shows goes towards our spay-neuter program.
So in the spay-neuter program, that has done wonders for the feral cat population in the area. How much has that impacted the feral cat population?
We have local low-cost spay-neuter service come into Floyd, and sometimes they'll have a mobile van, and sometimes it'll be a large vehicle, a large truck. We load the animals up in the morning. They go to be spay-neutered, get their rabies shot, then they come back again at the end of the day. We had a few volunteers that would go to the local green boxes where people seem to always dump their animals, or people, elderly people, who would start off with 1 or 2 cats, never get them spay neutered, and in 3 years would have 20. So we would go, we would humanely trap them, get them spay neutered, and we give assistance to anybody that needs that. But any of the feral cats, which are also called community cats, we will spay, neuter, and rabies shot for free. And that is what the craft fairs monies go towards, to supplement that.
And since this has been going on, how much has the feral cat population decreased, or the community cat population decreased?
So much so that within a few years, the county pound has completely stopped taking cats. They do not take cats because the feral cat population was reduced so much. Now, of course, our goal is 0, but we're working on that. And usually we do over 200 spay neuters every year.
Oh, wow. And going back to the crochets and the craft fairs, how can our viewers know where to go to the craft fairs to find the crochets and the knitted scarves and the catnip pillows?
Yes. Well, right now we're doing about 8 shows a year. We used to do about 35. That was a bit daunting. So the next one coming up is the Floyd Americana Fest, which is Sunday, September 18th at Lineberry Park right here in Floyd from noon to 6 p.m. We'll have our red canopy up there. Come visit us. Then in December, we do Winterfest at Floyd Center for the Arts. That's a 2-day event. All these events are free. I also do another event on the Virginia Tech campus, and different events that come up during the year. We just did Pints for Paws. Every year it's a little bit different. In the spring, we did the New River Valley Home Expo show, which hadn't been put on for a number of years. So we try to do shows that are going to maybe at Christiansburg, where we get a new audience, people that haven't heard from us before. We try not to go too far afield, though.
So how long have you been involved in the Humane Society?
I started in 2007. I've always had animals and loved animals, and was sort of always driving past the green boxes and taking rescue cats home, and also my love of knitting and crafts. And it just seemed right to put the two together. I was on the Virginia Tech campus the day of the April 16, 2007 tragedy, and our very small department that hit very close to home for a lot of personal reasons. And people wanted to give back. They wanted to give back to the community in ways that they could. And it just seemed like this was the perfect fit for me. And I started off slowly. I only started 2 hours every month. That's all I was able to do. And I helped with the spay neuter assistance. And when they would come to pick up people, we'd meet in the morning, load up the animals, then come back again in the afternoon, and people would pick them up again. But at the time, that's all I could do, and that was fine. And then the other thing that's wonderful about our organization is how flexible they are with there's so many different activities. People always say, oh, I don't want to foster. That is one of the million things that we do. It could be something as simple as helping set up at a craft fair. We have the canopies and tables that need to be brought there and set up. It could be coming to during the day and socializing the new cats, or walking a dog so that they can get out of their kennel. We like to have families involved with that. We can't have underage children, of course, do that by themselves, but it's a good way for families to bond with their children, and the kids really enjoy it. And it's great for the animals because when they do go to their new home, they're been used to maybe kids running around, or it's a good socializing thing to do. Some of the other things that we do is, excuse me, here I have a list. These are our accomplishments from 2021. We rescued 97 dogs and 167 cats. On the average, our volunteers donated 1,300 hours a month. We donated over 8,000 pounds of pet food to our county food bank, Plenty. That way, people who maybe are down on their luck for a little while, they go there to get some food for their family. The idea of having to give up their beloved pet because they can't afford the pet food is even more devastating. So we supply Plenty with pet food so that they can give out to their customers. We had 214 free spay-neuter surgeries provided to the community. And we do a spring rabies clinic where 46 dogs and cats were vaccinated at a reduced rate. So we're helping to keep down, besides overpopulation, we're helping to keep down the dreaded rabies from spreading.
Well, and let's go back to the crochet cat cat pads. These not only look nice, but they serve a practical function as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I crochet these cat mats in a star shape here. And what we do is each cat that comes into our foster program, like Thor, gets one of these mats. And so while they're here, to be a little less stressful on them, while they're in a cage and unfamiliar smells and surroundings, they have a nice, comfy, cozy crocheted mat that they can sleep on. He's already smelling. And then when they're adopted, they get to bring that home with them to their new home. And again, that helps to keep them a little bit more comfortable. They're not as stressed being in, a new location. Thor has a real colorful one in there. And so each cat gets a cat mat that then they, when adopted, they get to go home with.
Well, is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know about the specifics of the events, the crafts, and how they may be able to get involved in the spay neuter program?
Sure. On our website or any of our craft shows, just come up to speak to any of our volunteers. We can give you information. And if you have any questions, that's a good way of seeing who volunteers for us, get to know that we're members of the community. We've been here decades, living here for a long time. You probably even know us. And we have shop owners that are members too. And again, start off small. You don't have to jump in feet first. There's so many small things and small ways that you can help the Humane Society. And we look forward to having volunteers help us all the time.
Well, thank you so much, Suzanne. Honcho here.
Oh no.
So a lot of new things, a lot of big things are starting to happen rapidly with the Humane Society.
Yes.
So with the new building, and then you got a new kennel coming in
Tonight.
as of now tonight.
Yes.
So tomorrow we'll be able to see the new kennel.
Yes.
How long have you been working with the Floyd County Humane Society?
Oh. I've been a volunteer for the last 3 years. I started out as a dog walker. And then as I saw the need to do more things and to lend my talents, I just got involved more.
And it's my understanding that this is a new property right here.
Yes.
When did this property come into the picture, and can you tell me a little bit about how that has A, come into the picture, and B, how it is tremendously helping the Humane Society mission?
We were very grateful and surprised to find out that a couple left in their estate money for the Floyd County Humane Society. It was enough for us to be able to purchase this property. Prior to that, we've been working out of multiple rented spaces. So being able to actually buy a property and start to consolidate our efforts was just tremendous.
And with this new building, you have office space, you have the new addition with the kennels. What else is this property going to be able to provide the Humane Society in the future?
We envision this property long term to also house a new structure in the back, because we have almost 9 acres here, but an all-encompassing structure for all of our functions. Right now, we are still limited in how many animals we can take in, and we rely heavily on our foster families. We have a new kennel coming in, and that too is from a very generous donation from another local family here in Floyd. The kennels that we have coming in will be able to house up to 7 dogs, but we have more dogs than that, including our fosters. There's times when we have up to 14 at a time.
So with the Humane Society, it sounds like you're doing a lot of functions very similar to a pound,
Yes.
but it is very different than a pound. What are the differences between what the Humane Society is doing here and the local pound?
Okay. When you call the local pound and you have a stray dog, say running in your fields and stuff, they will come pick up the dog. It's called a stray hold. And they will advertise the dog and, is this your pet? Come get it. And after that stray hold period, we have a very dedicated volunteer that goes in and assesses the animals. And she checks them for health issues, behavior issues, and we try to assist in helping to get that animal adopted from the pound, and also we'll take the animal in if we need to. We provide medical care. We get them spay-neutered. We get them heartworm tested, up on their shots. Sometimes we have to work with them on manners. Manners. And we try to work with them on their social skills so that we can match them with the best family for their forever home.
And so when people come in to adopt an animal or a dog, there's a sheet that kind of says, "Hey, this dog is great with kids, but maybe not so much with cats."
Yeah.
And
Those are the kinds of things we try to determine. Are they good with children? Sometimes their size and behavior, we don't recommend small children because maybe they're too rough with a small child. Or if we find out that they're not cat friendly, and we've had some return to us because they weren't chicken friendly. So we try to find the best home. And we have, unfortunately, um, during the pandemic and even here recently, we've had a lot of animals have to be owner surrendered because somebody in their family has passed away. And there's nowhere else for this pet to go. And it might be an animal that's a little older. And we try to match that with an appropriate family.
so a lot of senior dogs and cats that just need a little bit of TLC to spend their final days.
Yes, yes. And then we get calls for litters of pups. We had one volunteer climb through bramble bushes. I don't know if everybody remembers the story of Rose, the town hound. She had a regular route through the town of Floyd, and people would post on Facebook, "Oh, the dog's here behind this house. The dog's over here." And we started trying to track her and trap her because it was clear she was pregnant. And there for a while, we didn't see Rose, so we knew she must have gone somewhere to have her litter. And we had a dedicated volunteer find that litter, crawl through the bramble bushes to get the litter out, and we rescued that litter. And we finally did trap Rose, and she went to a foster, and a great foster, and now she's a companion animal, an emotional support animal. So that is one of our best success stories for the type of work that we do.
So going from single mother to hardworking companion animal.
Support animal. Yes, yes, yes.
So with the kennel that's coming up here soon, that's being delivered tonight, what is that going to specifically allow the Humane Society to be able to accomplish?
The current place that we have our kennel, the dogs don't have outside access. So we have 3 shifts of volunteers that go in every day, morning, midday, to let them out so they can do their business, but also so they can get outside. A dog that stays in a kennel long term starts to get a little kennel, what we call kennel crazy. They get very nervous, and that doesn't make them show well, or somebody comes to meet them, they're not relaxed. And then we have someone that goes in the evening and feeds and lets them out again. Our new kennels will have outdoor access, so they'll be able to go outside, see the sun, feel the air, have a little more space to roam, and then we'll have a secure yard here where they can get out and run around. Having all of our functions consolidated here, our cat care, our office space, our storage, our supplies, the kennels, will save our volunteers so much time. So we don't have to go to one place to pick something up, another place maybe to do a kennel duty, another place, to drop something off. And our volunteers might be able to do more than one thing at a time. So, for instance, if we have a few dogs and a few cats and you like both, maybe you'll come and do morning feed for both and help reduce the number of shifts that we have to cover.
So it helps make the most with volunteers as well as provide a better environment for the pups.
Yes, it will help streamline a lot of our processes, save us a lot of time. A lot of time. And having a permanent facility will also let the public know where they can come, so that they know, oh, that's where the Humane Society is, or I want to adopt a pet. Where can I go? Well, you can come to the Humane Society.
So when it comes to adopting pets, I know a lot of people want to shop for a pet, but adoption, I personally I've adopted my dog. And I know the benefits, but what are the big benefits to adopting rather than, going for a specific breed?
There are so many dogs, unfortunately, that are put down because they're just unwanted. The dogs that we get, it's amazing. When they come up to you, they are just so grateful for the attention. I see transformation in dogs that I work with in the kennel. And to me, they are very loving. They're happy. We fully vet them. They're spay-neutered. You know what the health condition is. Sometimes if you go to what we call a breeder, some breeders are very responsible, but then there are many that are not. And unfortunately, they may not be fully vetted. They may not have all their vaccines. They may come to you. They may have heartworm. You don't know it. We've had a few instances of dogs turned into us that had come from a breeder that the owner found out had severe health problems or deformities from constant breeding, and now they had a pet they didn't know what to do with, or they couldn't afford to keep. So coming through us, the animals have been screened. We help with expenses. If you're a foster, we pay all the expenses, and we would love to have more fosters because that does socialize the animals. And we love our failed fosters too. Once they get one and they love him so much, they just don't let him go.
Foster fails are a real thing?
Yes, they are, and we're proud to have them.
So I know specifically, like with my dog, training. Little bit of he was energetic as can be when I first got him, but a little bit of time, a little bit of diligence and patience. All these dogs that come through the Humane Society, they're still trainable. They can do what they need to do. So if you're looking for a farm dog or just even a companion animal, you can get them where they need to be, right? And the Humane Society helps provide educational resources as well, right?
We do. That's part of the screening process. So if we find a dog needs a little more work, we will work with that dog. We have a certain set of commands that we try, particularly with the walking, the leading on the lead so they're not running you off, the sit, the stay, down. We work with them on various commands. If we have one that needs a little more work, we have some professional handlers that engage with us and will work with our dogs to make them more adoptable.
All right. Is there anything you want our community to know about this new facility or the Floyd County Humane Society in general?
The Floyd County Humane Society, and most people don't realize this, first of all, we're 100% volunteers. Nobody on our staff is paid. We also, most people don't realize that your local humane society and rescue groups do not receive funding from the national ASCPA. They just don't. ASPCA. They just don't. So your dollars go further when you donate locally. We are also have launched a capital campaign to help fund the permanent shelter that will be located on the property behind us. So you go to our website to look at our progress on that capital campaign to donate. You can volunteer your time. We will take any help we can to further our mission. We've come so far in the last 18 months by leaps and bounds through the generosity of these two major donors, the estate gift and the local family that's helping us with this dog kennel.
Sounds like a lot of big things are coming y'all's way, and rather quickly too.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what comes of it.
I can't wait to see what's coming next.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.